Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my Stamping is Fun channel. Today I have a super cute card from the Snailed It bundle to share with you today. So let's get started. This is the card that we're making today. It is from the Snailed It bundle, which features the Snailed It stamps. We're going to be using this one today, as well as the snail dies, which have a postage stamp die, several dies for snails and mushrooms and hearts. And then this is the envelope that we'll be using. And there's also a small letter that would go inside the envelope. We're not using that today, just the envelope die and the postage die for this project. We're using a card base that is Blackberry Bliss, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. You can check out my blog, stampinghair.blogspot.com, for all the stamping measurements and cutting instructions. We will have a layer of crumb cake that's 4 by 5 1/4, a piece of white cardstock that go inside of our card. It's 4 and 5 1/4 also. I have a piece of white cardstock that I've cut at 2 by 2 1/8. This is the Blackberry Bliss die cut from the snail dies. It's the postage die, and this little piece of white will go right in the center, and we'll be stamping on that. And I also cut out 3 mini envelopes, an old olive, rich raspberry, and crumb cake. The last piece of our card is this Oh So Ombre DSP. And this is a Blackberry Bliss color, and the reverse is Granny Apple Green. This pack you can get as a celebration item through the end of February with a $50 purchase. You can choose this, and it has all these ombre colors: Bermuda Bay, Rococo Rose, Blackberry Bliss, the Grand Apple Green, and it comes both in this pattern with circles and in these solid patterns. I want to use this ombre, the lightest to the darkest. Using my paper trimmer, I'm going to cut my paper 3 3/4 by 5. And now it's time for some stamping. Using this snail image from the Snailed It stamp set and Memento Black ink, I'm going to stamp my snail. Now this is 2 inches by 2 1/8, so I want it in the portrait length, so the 2 1/8 is on the side. And then I'll just stamp my snail right in the center. I'm going to color the snail with these stamping blends. I have the light and dark combo of the crumb cake, light and dark old olive, light cherry cobbler, and we'll do some shadow with the light smoky slate. So starting with my dark old olive, I'm going to highlight the spiral of the snail and put some darker shading over here on the left. And then with my dark crumb cake, I'm going to put down here a shadow on his belly. And I'm going to come back with my light blend. So for my light old olive, then I'm just going to fill in the rest of the shell and blend around that dark old olive. And then with my light crumb cake, I'll do the same with the snail's body. Fill it in and just go over where the line between the light and the dark is to smooth it out. And using my light cherry cobbler and the pen end, I'm going to fill in my heart on the letter. I want to put a shadow underneath of him, and I'm using my light smoky slate and the thick end, and I'm just going to come around here like so. So now I'm going to build the envelopes, and if you notice in this die cut that there's more space here on this side than at the bottom. So this is the top of our envelope. And we'll fold in the flaps from each side and fold up the bottom and then fold down the top. And that builds our envelopes. So I'll put a little glue on the first flap. And fold over. And then on the bottom flap, put some glue here. And then I'll just hold it until the glue is tacky enough to hold the envelope closed. And then at the top, fold the envelope closed. The cut and emboss machine, the machine both cuts out the die and also leaves a score line. Fold the left flap over and then the right. Put a little dab of glue down here on the left to hold the sides, and then the bottom flap. Put a little glue on that, and then the top flap comes down. And I'm just pinching closed on those score lines and adding a little more glue to create the envelope. And then just hold it until the glue can hold the envelope shut. So you see the detailing with the stitched edge and the score lines that are made when it's run through the cut and emboss machine. And if it comes open, just put a little bit more glue on there and then hold it. Here's my card base, and I'm going to burnish on the score line. Put my crumb cake layer on using my liquid glue. Right, this is the first layer on my card front. The next layer is my Oh So Ombre DSP. You can see on the back side it has this lovely grainy apple green. So I might have to do a version that uses that paper because it's so wonderful. And I'm putting my ombre color down on to the left bottom. Now I will adhere my snail image to the die cut, and then just center it between the stitched edging, the inside stitched edging. I'm using dimensionals to pop this on the front. Our dimensional covers. And I'm going to put this on the left-hand side closer to the left side and then with an equal spacing on the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to dry fit my envelopes on to the front of the card. Put one going tilted to the left, one kind of tilted to the right, and then another one on the bottom. These little envelopes are so darn cute. And then once I have them in a position that I want them, I'll use my liquid glue to put them in place. And now for the last little bit of stamping, I'm going to stamp on my insert in Memento Black with the same snail from the front, carrying that snail mail into the inside. And on my envelope, I'm going to put the another stamp from the stamp set, Happy Mail Enclosed, on the front of my envelope. So that gives a little preview of what's to come for the recipient. So if I open up my card and adhere my insert with some liquid glue, too darn cute. Too darn cute. And there is my completed card, snail mail. Thank you so much for joining me. I enjoyed sharing this fun project with me. Subscribe to my channel so I can bring you even more fun stamping projects. Until next time, remember, stamping is fun. Bye.